Hey everybody, how you all doing? Uh, Man, it's been a while since I streamed. I gotta turn my headphones up a little bit. I don't know how I got turned down. Uh, Thanks, Mama, for the kind words. Looking good? I don't think so. At least I don't think I am. I haven't seen Jane in here. Where's she at? I haven't seen her in a while. Mama, thanks for that tier one sub. Greatly appreciate that. Uh, Everybody's done scrolled up my screen, so I'm not sure who all's in here. While we're waiting for a few more people to come in for the tropical update, nothing to worry about, by the way. Bearcat, thanks for that sub. Um, I know I haven't streamed since the 19th, and it's it's been a rough past couple of weeks, but I've been laid up pretty bad. I managed to um help Nathan out a few days back when he got that white tornado. It's gorgeous. I love white tornadoes. Um, and I've been trying whenever I can to get up and check on things in case there was something major to report. Cat, as far as remote ID, there's a lot of discussion going on how to beat it. Well, I wouldn't try some of the YouTube videos that's out there that tells you how to beat it. Hey, JB Head, and everybody else. Sorry, Bearcat, Brianna, wearing my helmet, and everybody else. Thanks for joining me tonight. We will cover the tropical weather. I'm going to give you some update on the laser, and I'm going to give you some update on the wolves. I posted on my Discord about them, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. I haven't gotten any more, to tell you the truth. Hey, Southpaw. But remote ID for drones. If you got a newer drone, um, it's already built into it. You don't have to worry. If you got an older drone like me, you have to buy a module. The cheapest one I've seen is about 55, 60 bucks. You got to be careful. I would wait. You got to be careful because some of them are just a circuit board that you got to add a battery source to it, a power source. So that means even more weight you got to add to it. Now, there is one that I've been kind of looking at for around $100, but it's got some extra goodies in it. And the problem, people, if you don't know about what this remote ID is, FAA and its infinite wisdom decided that they want to track every drone and every person flying the drone. Now, really, I don't have a problem with that. They track for airplanes, right? They know where every airplane is. And if some idiot is flying a drone and he happens to hit somebody or hits another plane, anything above 250 grams can actually do damage to aircraft. So I don't have a problem with the FAA knowing where I'm flying my drone, where I'm standing at, and trying to be legal about it. The problem is there's going to be an app coming out. It might already be out, I don't know, where the public can download this app and they can look for any drone in the area and find out exactly where you are flying the drone. And there's a lot of drone haters out there. I don't have any so far around here where I'm at, but there's been cases over in England where people's been attacked, actually threatened with a gun. for flying their drone, even though the person flying the drone was not looking into people's windows. But the guy said, get out of here or I'm going to shoot you because you're looking in my windows. The cameras aren't that good. You'd have to be right close to the window. So, yeah, I'll let you know, Kat. Actually, I'll do a stream when it gets a little bit closer. It's come September is when we have to have remote ID. So I've got a problem with the public knowing because of idiots. But so that's it as far as the drone goes. So as soon as I find out something, I'll let everybody with the drone know. So let's get over here to the studio. And let's start out with the wolves first while we're waiting for a few more people to get here for the tropical. Actually, no. Let's go ahead and do tropical. I'm showing 32 people. What the hell? By the way, my last stream, I got a $50 donation, and I'm not going to say who the person was. It was greatly appreciated. I need, stuff to keep everything going here, but I felt so bad for Kathy and Terry over at Wolf Creek Habitat. I took that $50 dono and went to their GoFundMe and just donated it to kind of help them out. Anyway, so let's get to what's going on in the tropics. So hopefully everything still works here. This system right here, this is Invest 96L. And yesterday, it had an 80% chance of forming something. Not so much today. And part of the reason is, and I'll do this in dark blue, we got a big old high pressure system. This thing did come off the coast of Africa and came like that, but then that high pressure grabbed it and turned it north. So now it's down to 40% in the next 2 days, 50 in the next 7 days. But to tell you the truth, it's not going to do anything. We got this system here. Now, this system here was kind of interesting. Several days ago, this thing was like right in here, and it had a really weak chance. It was headed right for the coast. Well, all it was just a low pressure system. And it kind of went inland and got kicked out up here. Now, it's only got a 10% chance of doing anything. There you can see that. And it's caught in a front. So it's going to be a non-tropical system if it does anything. It's just a disturbance. I don't think anything's going to happen with that. Again, because of that high pressure system, it's going to go around like that. So same way. This is 97L, by the way. This is 96L. Now, over in the Eastern Pacific, this is kind of complicated looking. It's like, why do they have this when they've got a tropical disturbance 5E? Well, let's get to the graphical. This down here was that yellow box for something to happen. Now, people thought this tropical depression 5E, it's moving west, not northwest. It's moving west. It's staying in warmer waters, and it is slated to get as high as a hurricane category 2, 35 mile per hour wind. And it's moving west at 14 mile per hour. This thing has only got a 10% chance it's going to die. It's going to die because it's kind of slated to go up here in the cooler waters, which, if you remember back, I told you there's a lot of cooler waters right in there. So this thing turns this way, it ain't going to do anything. On the other hand, this thing continues to go west. It could go over and agitate Hawaii. Have to keep a close eye on it. But it will eventually run into cooler waters over by Hawaii. So, but when we go back, this area here only has a 30% chance in 7 days. And actually, I think from what I've been seeing on the models, it's going to turn into Mexico. Again, when it gets up in here, you know, that colder water, again, is about right in there. It's the PDO. It's a Pacific Oscillation, basically. And that's it down here, down in this area. But when we look at Tropical Depression 5, it looks pretty doggone good. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that. Again, over here by Hawaii, you can see this little feller here with only a 10% chance. It's not going to do anything. So this is Hawaii right here in the center of the screen. Yeah, I tell you what. Well, let's finish the tropical weather first. So here's 96L. The low pressure system is down in here. It's all sheared off. Let me change the plot type. Let's go to shortwave infrared. And if you look, the low pressure, and I'll freeze this, the low pressure is actually over in here. All the storms are getting sheared off of it. And that's the reason why I really don't think it's going to form into too much. But it's going to stay out to sea anyway. So we go back to current storms, and the only other one is that Tropical Depression 5E. Let's take a look at this thing. It's got some pretty strong storms in there at times, and it definitely has some really good circulation. Let me switch to the shortwave, and you can definitely see a spin. The spin. Actually, let me grab another pen here. The spin is... Okay, why didn't that work? The spin is right in there. As it's kind of moving northwest right now, but it's going to eventually move west tonight. So it'll stay in those warmer waters. So that's it for the tropical weather. Now, let's come over here to the main screen. What's going on in the U.S.? Ain't this nuts? I mean, you may think, oh, God, the Southwest, too hot. Well, that's kind of normal. I mean, they're only 5 to 10 degrees above average. But what's going on? I got to get rid of one page here. What's going on is we got a high pressure system right in here. When I put this in motion, you can see the clouds are going like this. And that's what's causing all the heat. But look over here in Arizona. I'd like to see this because they didn't really have a monsoon season, which is the month of July, and it was looking pretty bad. Well, now that high has shifted east because it was over here around New Mexico, and so now it's bringing up a lot of tropical moisture out of the Gulf and out of the Pacific, so we're starting to get quite a bit of rain. Oh, crap. Stupid Windows. So let's go back. Is climate change real? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And before I go in, and I'll repeat what I just was talking about, but you guys couldn't see. There is a wobble in the earth. It takes 20,000 years for the full wobble, okay, on the axis. Every 10,000 years, we'll go into a warm trend, okay? The next 10,000 years, we'll swing back to the Ice Age. Well, we're getting near the peak of the warm trend. It's been 10,000 years since we had the kind of climate that we have nowadays. Now, the government and some scientists say that humans are causing it. No, it's natural. It's natural for the earth to do this. And if you dig into it, you'll find out that I'm right. Now, humans have made it worse, okay, but not by a huge degree. I mean, it's like 0.3% that the humans has affected the natural order of change. So I don't care if everybody went back to the cowboy days. The whole world goes back to cowboy days. No emissions whatsoever. You're not going to change it. You can't change it by 2050 like Biden seems to want to talk about. Of course, Biden lies about everything, right? So yes, there is climate change, but it's a normal pattern. 10,000 years ago, we was in an ice age. And they talk about a lot of the glaciers melting. Well, a lot of the glaciers that are melting is because of hot spots underneath them that are actually melting them. If you study Iceland, you'll find out that the glaciers up in Greenland and Iceland is melting because it's not, I wouldn't say volcanic activity, but it's warming and it's coming up to the surface. Well, Iceland alone, and most of their energy is derived off of the Earth's warming. They tap in deep to get the steam to drive the generators. So that's where most of their energy comes from, is from the Earth, from underground volcanic activity. And I tell you what, from what I have studied about the subject, there's more pollution coming from volcanoes around the world than there is humans. So that's my opinion of what I have found out. I better put that disclaimer in there that yeah, there's nothing we can do to stop it whatsoever. We could make it better, but switching over to all electric cars when most of our energy grid is derived from natural gas and coal. So you're still polluting to produce the electricity to drive those electric cars. Then you got to consider, if you got an electric car, the battery in the wintertime doesn't perform near as well. And if you got one down where it's 100-degree temperatures like Texas and New Mexico and Louisiana areas, the batteries don't do good in the hot weather either. Instead of having 100% charge, you might have 80% charge. So, yeah, going all electric is not the answer, and there's no way we can do that by 2035. California is a good point to talk about when it comes to the electrical grid, because California's legislation is demanding everybody to switch by I forget what year it is. By here in a few years, you can't even buy a gas car or a hybrid out there. And there's more blackouts in California than any other state. on a normal day. On a normal day. So you had the whole state full of electric cars. Yeah, using oil is not good, but we depend on it. There's too much going on. What makes electric oil? Well, actually, there is no such thing as electric oil. But anyway, I could go on for hours and hours and hours on this discussion, and I tell you what, it's not worth it because it's not going to happen. You can't. Our electrical grid. To give you an example, there's a big push on for solar power, solar panel farms around the U.S. Just east of me, over in the county where I grew up, there's a lot of people that has complained and stopping solar panel farm from being put up. And the problem with it is, and there's some huge solar panel farms. Okay, you're using up property that could be farmed to create food for everybody. Everybody talks about there's a food shortage. A lot of people go hungry. And the prices go up. But you're tying up land that stuff could be grown on to feed not only us, but people around the world. We do export a lot of food, by the way. But not only that, all the solar panel farms that we have right now doesn't even make up 3% of the nation's electrical grid. Less than 3%. So, and they're having a lot of problems with them. Of course, they're being made in China. And yeah, Tesla makes his own. But anyway, I could go on and on. Well, we have a lot of wind power here too, even out over the ocean, and I have a problem with that because NOAA has studied that the wind farms that's out over the water, out in the ocean, is actually the low frequency noise created by them is actually affecting sea life. So but you can't flip a switch and do away with fossil fuels, is basically what I'm saying. It's going to take a long time to get there. Hey, JoJo, thanks for that sub. 11-month streak. I appreciate that. So, anyway, let's get off of that subject because I could go on, and I'll get into politics. And I tell you what, after what I've been seeing this past 2 weeks, I don't want to go there because I'll blow up. So, anyway, so let's get back to the main screen now that I've got it fixed, where it's showing you guys. We got a high pressure system right here. It was further west. It's slowly going east. And that means more weather for us over here in the east, hot weather. But now that this has shifted east, we're starting to get some much needed rain in Arizona, New Mexico, up in Colorado, New Mexico, or not New Mexico, Nevada, and the Four Corner states here, much needed rain. A lot of this rain that's heading on the west side of the Continental Ridge, a lot of that's going to drain into the Colorado River, and which is a great thing because we need that. We've been in so much of a drought for such a long time. But one reason why we don't have a storm chase, this good old high pressure ridge, the jet stream's been kind of staying like this, way up to the north. Well, we're going to see a change, and it's going to help me with a little bit cool waters. It already is. Right now, Let me switch this over to water vapor. You can see a little bit better where the jet stream actually is right now. And I'll use red. Here's the jet stream right now. So we got a dip coming here in the east. This high pressure ridge will shove east. And what's that going to do? Let me get the webpage. I forgot to load this up. Let's get over here to monitor 6. Let's look at the jet stream. Right there is the jet stream right now, okay? But watch what the jet stream does. This is that high pressure system right here. Keep an eye on that thing shifting east. But look at where the jet stream ends. Now this is August 6th. But now we've got a jet stream like this. So with that shift, with the high pressure over in here, with that shift, that jet stream will create some storms, most likely in this area. Right in here. Could see Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma. It's a little far out, but it's good news to finally get that dip in the jet stream. That'll help bring some cooler air to the south. And I always like when there's a dip in the jet stream like this, where it's coming like this and then going up and over the ridge. This will bring down the cooler Canadian air. The high pressure ridge over in here will help, and it's kind of going to be kind of elongated. It'll help bring the warm moist air, and they'll collide along that jet stream. So we should get some pretty good storms if this holds true. Again, this is a week out. So that could be pretty cool. In about a week, we hopefully will be able to get back to storm chasing again. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, let's turn the page. Get back over here to the studio. Man, somebody must be talking about me. My nose has been itching for days. So yeah, that could be really significant. That's going to really help us out. So the wolves. Thank goodness all the wolves are okay. I haven't heard any more updates since I posted over on my Discord. But they were hit with a devastating storm about 4 o'clock in the morning. And I warned them that it was coming. They didn't think it was going to be that bad. It's been a lot of years since that creek flooded out. It's down in the valley, by the way. Let me go over here to monitor 6. This is a satellite view of Wolf Creek. It's down in the valley, and there's a creek called Wolf Creek that runs right through there. Now, Kathy's house is right here, and they had a retaining wall back here. It got so bad, it rained 8 inches within just a few hours, and there was a 6-foot flood, and it tore down this retaining wall that was back here at the back of their property. Their house had 6 feet of water in the basement. It come all the way up to where the wolves are. It swept away the chicken coop and all the chickens. They lost all their chickens. And I tell you what, she was devastated. She loves those chickens as well as the wolves. Thank goodness all the wolves are fine. Okay. But there's one of the security walls that is laying over. Here's some of the damage. This right here, what you're looking at, used to be when the wolves were real tiny. That's the enclosure they were in. If this would have happened back in April, the pups would have been dead. Unless she took them in the house. Now this is in the backyard. I'm not going to bother playing that video, but I do want to play this one for you. And let me get the desktop audio set up so you can hear it.
Well, we've lost a lot of stuff. The basement's full of 6 foot of water. Our babies are fine.
There's the pups. They're not pups anymore. No, I don't.
Well, apparently it did because everything's. But it didn't get into any of the wolf enclosures. So everything's fine. Hi, babies. Okay, yes you are. Yes you are. I'm sure you were scared.
So that's one of the paths to get around to some of the other wolves. It was devastating, guys. Just really devastating. It broke my heart. I was actually planning on going over to Wolf Creek that morning, and I couldn't sleep that night and was up all night. And this over my shoulder hit him the next morning around 4 o'clock in the morning. It was 2 different lines of storms. Now, I haven't heard from her since this one hit her. I warned her. I showed her this image. I sent it to her. Kathy's her name. She's the owner. Her and her husband, Terry. And and so they got a double whammy. So I didn't get to go over. I didn't want to bother them too much because I seen what was happening. I didn't do a screenshot because I was actually in bed watching all this happen. So I didn't. I was in too much pain to get up to the desk to take a screenshot of the radar, but it was a whole line. It was actually a derecho 4 o'clock Saturday morning. And it came and smacked me with 60 plus mile per hour winds, which I don't live all that far as the crow flies from Wolf Creek. So if you go over to my Discord, you'll see the link in the general chat for this GoFundMe. Like I said, my last donation I got on my last stream, I just went ahead and sent it to them on the GoFundMe. If you're so inclined, it would be great. They've already raised 3,100. Their goal is 5,000. But you can read. Everything is in here. The gift shop, which is where you have to first walk in to pay, that had damage. The meeting room had damage. The office, the cabins. Now, I'm not sure about cabins because there was several stories, and I don't know if it was her two cabins or not. She had, well, actually, let me go back to monitor 6 real quick. So this is all the wolf enclosures. Well, that one isn't, but there's one, there's one, there's one. Back here's one. Over in here's another one. All these over here are wolf enclosures, as well as that one there. That's where the wolves are all at. Now the pups would be in this one right here. That's where the pups were at. Now the cabins, it's a little hard to see, and I can't zoom in any further than that, but there was a small cabin here and a small cabin there. They got a nice gazebo right there. They used to have events out in this field, but there was a report, multiple reports. There were 2 people staying in a cabin. I don't know if it was one of Kathy's cabins or what. I haven't talked to her. I've been leaving her alone because I know she's busy and crap. But one of the cabins, a cabin, let me say it that way, a cabin got flooded or taking down the creek, down the flooded creek. There were 2 people inside. One died, and the other one is still missing. I looked it up again right before I did a live stream. They're still searching for the second person. I don't know if it was one of Kathy's cabins. It flows into the White River, which she real close to. Wolf Creek does. So I got the feeling it was one of her cabins, because in that GoFundMe it does mention that one of the cabins was destroyed. So thank goodness, not only that the rest of the animals, she didn't mention anything about the foxes, and the foxes were in the enclosure behind and closer to the creek from where the pups was. So she hasn't said anything about the foxes, but they're going to be down for several weeks. I may try to go over this next weekend if it doesn't rain again. There is a possibility they could get more rain. They've been asking for volunteers. I'm not physically able to go over and really do much. That's the reason why I didn't go over anyway on Saturday. This derecho was forecasted, Bearcat. I knew it was coming. It was actually some storms that Nathan chased, and then it blew up into a derecho and turned southeast and came right at us. I knew it was coming, but I thought maybe it would go through really fast, like the second line of storms, the one that's over my shoulder. That's the HRRR model, or it's this shoulder, I guess. The camera's backwards. There you go. That one right there. Those blew through pretty fast. That line was moving at 60 mile an hour. The problem with the day before was the storms blew up right over top of Brookville and rained for hours and hours. I was seeing lightning from that on one of my cameras at 11 o'clock that night, and it didn't stop. The lightning show didn't stop till about 7 in the morning. So that storm and some others in the area, including over us, once the front line went through, then the rest of them just sat there and just rained and rained. She said they got 8 inches of rain with a 6-foot flood, and it totally. And that I seen pictures of the retaining wall, and it was a well-built concrete block retaining wall, and it's gone. It ripped the retaining wall to keep the floodwaters out. So yeah, it was crazy. So if you're so inclined, go to my Discord. You'll see the link for the GoFundMe. Actually, I can share the link in here. And there's the link if you're so inclined. Every little bit helps. I don't care if it's $5 or what. There's so much damage, and that one wall that's in the picture, that wall leaning over, that's actually a security wall. One thing, other than the safety of all the animals, the one thing that I was worried about was the security wall getting tore down, and the enclosure fences getting tore down, and the wolves actually being able to get out. That didn't happen. Thank goodness the wolves are far enough away from the creek. That didn't happen. So I tell you, man, it broke my heart. It really did. So anyway, the laser. Saturday, I returned the laser, the stepper motor that actually run the laser back and forth. Just doing a small 3-inch project, it didn't even get very far in the project, and the motor got so hot I couldn't even touch it. So let me show you a video. I forgot to show you guys this video last time. Now this is sped up 1,000%, but that's the laser in motion. And no sooner than they got about that much done, which is not even a 1/4 inch, the motor that drives that laser back and forth got so hot that I was afraid it was going to catch on fire. So I returned it on Saturday and ordered a new one, and they say it's going to be here tomorrow. Yeah, Hurricane Harvey was one of the worst ones, and I actually forecasted that it was going to make a double landfall, and it did. Nathan was down there for that, for Harvey, and I was doing a live stream on it. And yeah, Harvey was devastating because it stalled out after it made second landfall. It just stalled out and just ruined everybody's place down there. So this is starting a second pass. Hey, could you turn off caps, please? So I don't have that project, which didn't turn out that good. It didn't turn out that good. Now, I've learned some really cool techniques. I don't know how many of you know what borax is. I can remember as a kid seeing commercials for the 21 or 20 Mule Team borax laundry soap. It's a white powder, used to be used to wash your clothes. Okay? And it's good for all kinds of cleansing. But what I found out is I can take borax and put it on the wood, let it dry, and it makes, I'll see if this shows up. It makes, this is the last project that I did before I set the laser back. Let me tilt it. It makes it blacker. It creates a lot of soot, so it will smear. But what I did is I took, because it was too black, I took duct tape and just dabbed it, not wipe it, but dabbed it, and it took a lot of the soot out, and then I clear coated it so now it doesn't smear. So to get an engraving darker, that's one technique. The video I was showing, I was trying to get it darker, and it took 3 passes and it still didn't look right. Now, for those of you that wasn't with me when I showed this, this is on black scratch paper with the silver background. That's Tacori and Arrow, 2 of the wolves that I visit, and that come out really good. I don't know if any of you remember scratch paper from school, but you scratch the black coating to see the color that's underneath, and you can get rainbow color or this metallic underneath. Works out really great. Also, before I sent the laser back, this was another attempt. I changed the logo. I moved the tornado in between because before the logo looked like this. And you can't see the part of the W and X. So I moved the tornado over, and I like it. I like the way it came out. And I will be doing this on acrylic. I've got all the material to do acrylics now, so I just got to wait for the laser to get here, which, by the way, I'll show you what it looks like when you take it out of the box. Now, don't mind the 3 items on the right. That's an evacuation system, but everything else is the parts for the laser. Now, it doesn't look like that much, right? It took me over an hour to put the thing together and get it set right. So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. And somebody had mentioned about doing a video. Well, I could, but I'd have to speed it up because it takes a long time, and there's a lot of videos of other people putting that same laser together. It's a great little diode laser for $220. You know, I couldn't beat it. So yeah, that's only one monitor. The other monitors has got a bunch on there too. By the way, this is the picture of the one engraving that I showed you. That's what it looked like before I put it into the laser. So yeah, I got a crap ton of icons. But I've got all kinds of great ideas in my head for projects. It'll be items put up for sale. Once I get everything going, I will have a website that you can go to buy my merch. I was asked on Discord a week or 2 ago if I would be willing to do custom jobs. Yeah, once I get everything going, I will try to do some custom engraving for people. But the next work I'm going to try to do, I've got a bunch of 12 by 12 acrylic sheets, 1/8 inch thick, to test with to get the laser set, the speed and the power setting just right to where it doesn't bubble up and crack the acrylic, but yet does a good job. I've already got the material, but I got to test with those. Then I'll do those ones that are like 5-inch square that goes into a base and lights up with LED lights shining up through it. It's really cool. Actually, if you didn't see it, this is basically the kind of stuff I can do on a lighted acrylic. That was off of a video. I won't be doing Hogwarts, but I'll be doing my logo, Nathan's logo, and maybe some wolves and stuff like that once I get it going. So hopefully everything comes in tomorrow, and or the laser comes in tomorrow and I get it put together. So I don't plan on doing a stream tomorrow night, but if something pops up weather-wise, I'll let you know. I haven't talked to Nathan since our last chase, so I don't know what his feeling is on another chase, but I think it's going to be several days out. And there's a possibility when the jet stream starts turning, it'll come from the northwest into Nebraska. So and that a lot of times sparks some really good Nebraska storms, is when the jet stream comes out of the northwest and the surface winds come out of the south. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but that's going to be a few days out from what I've seen so far. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here. A lot of you is already leaving. Greatly appreciate the subs. That helps me keep things going. Any direct donations for the next while, I will send those most likely over to Wolf Creek Habitat to help them out. They've got 3,000 out of 5,000. Well, 3,100 out of 5,000. Or you can send it direct to them if you want to. But a lot of people don't like GoFundMe. I've even shied away from it, but I know for a fact this is a really good cause. I have talked to Kathy and watched her videos and pictures, and it's actually happened, so it's no bullshit. Okay? So anyway, thank y'all for being here. Greatly appreciated. Any bits that I might have missed, subs, thank you very much. Any direct donations, greatly appreciated. So anyway, till the next time, peace. Pop a top for me. And we'll catch you the next time I'm able to stream, hopefully with the laser. So y'all have a good night, you hear?